Do you have absolute certainty on how you go from hello to yes on what you're looking for? I watch people get stuck and frozen, and that breaks my heart. I was once stuck and frozen too. Greatest superpower in the world that is attainable for you is the ability to influence people.
Jump in. Somebody could start the timer.
Yeah.
Anil, first off, we all love your heart because a bunch of us were talking about it in the chat. It's very on brand. Nice to meet you.
No, it's my pleasure. I've heard so much about you.
Thank you. But Anil, I'm curious. Why are you the love doctor?
You know, I have a very special gift, and I'm on a mission to move, touch, and inspire 1,000 million people by December 2022.
Amazing. And how are you doing that? How are you pushing your mission forward each day?
You know, I'm kind of stuck, and that's why, you know, I agreed to talk to you because, you know, I understand that you could help me with my messaging.
Well, so the thing I do is I help people to take their message to a bigger audience. Going with my background, it's helping them reach TV, print, radio, and then showing people, business people, how to turn it into either more business or brand building, or the third piece I like to say is save the world. Not sure which of those appeal to you, or if it's all three, or what.
You know, it's a mixture of all three, and saving the world is the bigger one. But obviously, I have to be cognizant that I have to feed the family.
Yes, you should. One unique thing about what I do is after I set that Guinness record 11 years ago, people asked me to get involved in the PR game, and I spent the next 8 years saying no to people. I would say I already have a business. How much can I do? But the real reason is that whole business model is totally broken. It's expensive and bloated, and there are no guarantees. And I said, unless I could flip those three, I said, I'm just not even getting involved. So we came up with a model 2.5 years ago where we figured out how to get 80% more results for 80% less cost. And I know we only have a few minutes, but I'm happy to go offline, have another chat. We get to know each other more, and then share with you kind of the nuts and bolts of how we've been helping some of the folks who are in our media ambassador program.
Well, Jess, I'm Indian.
What was that?
So when I'm Indian, so when you say 80% less, I kind of like that. And I've heard of the 80-20 rule, but not the 80-80 rule. And,
the 80-80 rule. Yeah, I'm writing that down.
Yeah.
That's good. And, the 88. Yeah, awesome. And then, my thought is, we'll chat. If there's some synergy there, cool. If not, then I get to meet somebody interesting, and we'll move forward.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I like you not being a salesman. I like you not making any promises. Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. All right. Fun chat.
That's it. That was incredible. With less than 2 minutes. Awesome.
And Anil, I'm not role playing when I say, because I was like, oh, this guy's on brand and he seems kind of fun, and we were, chatting in there. So fun chat and cool.
And I was being totally honest too. So I would like to talk to you.
All right, we'll have to talk.
Beautiful. All right.
Get a cut of that. Get your VIG.
Feedback from the judges, Rob and Joe.
Yeah, so I'll start with, we just witnessed a really great, smooth rapport build formation agreement in real time. There was a lot of rapport. He gave him the feature benefit as far as 80-80. I love that. And, the worst case scenario, he gets to meet someone cool. I love the way, he framed that. So I would give him a 9.5, and that was a great call.
Awesome.
Yeah. I thought it was great too. The level of folks that are on this call is incredible. I think one of the things I would have done in that space is I would have dug a little bit deeper into the Love Doctor. Where did that name come from? Why the date 2022? Less talking, more listening. I think I would have tried to get to his heart and it is only 3 minutes. I get it. And I think when you brought in your unique heroic identity, which is phenomenal, I may have waited a little bit longer to let him talk a little bit more first, and then bring that in towards the end to create that next meeting. But I mean, listen, I give it a 9 myself. I thought it was great.
And totally, Rob. Yeah, I think when we get on with somebody, this is my take, and I get it's your take too.
Yeah.
I always try to let them talk first, and people. I mean, not talking about you, Anil, but I mean, people's favorite topic is themselves.
It's true.
And kind of let people, share and get excited about, whatever it is that they're up to. And it helps, and it's helpful for us too, because we may realize in that conversation, like this person's totally not a fit, which is time saving anyway.
But you know what I thought was interesting? We can move on, Ken. I think when the love doctor mentions that specific date, there's a reason why. You know what I mean? So I would kind of say, like, what's that all about? Where did that date come from? How did that happen?
Anil, quickly, in 10 seconds, how did it get that date?
My daughter's birthday's the 22nd. So I thought, what's a nice match? 22. So everything went smoothly.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Welcome, Carolyn and Frank. And we're just going to get more intentional here. So 3 minutes. Let's move on. Michelle, how do you feel? You ready to go? You're gonna role play with the love doctor. Who do you want the love doctor to be?
I'm sweating. I would say an HR.
I can do that.
an HR leader in a medium-sized company.
Go ahead. Time starts.
Hello, Anil. How are you?
Hi, Michelle. Thank you for agreeing. Thank you for meeting me.
I'm really grateful that you're giving me a few minutes of your time today, and that you're interested in wanting to sort of hear what I'm up to. But I really want to understand why you said yes to meeting with me today.
I'm having a problem with hires. I'm having a problem with hiring the wrong people, and I know that you've got a reputation for hiring the right people.
Yeah, well, actually, what I'm interested in hearing about is, during the pandemic, how do you think the well-being of your employees are, and do you think that your engagement is really where you want it to be?
That's something that we can look at, because the mental health wellness is something that's very important to us, not just as a business, but, just as a conscious employer.
What's scary is that since this pandemic began, it's actually 3 out of 5 people are either dealing with depression or anxiety. So if you look at your total employee population, the majority of them are dealing with something. So what sort of things are you already doing for your staff that I'd love to hear what you have in place already.
So Michelle, I just had a breakthrough. I realized that it's not the hiring issue. Maybe we're not serving them in the right way. So that's amazing. Well done. I appreciate that.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. I personally have dealt with mental illness. I was diagnosed with depression from left field. I grew up with a mom who had depression, but I never, ever in my life thought I would deal with depression myself, because I was adopted. And I dealt with it, and it was really hard. So I can imagine how many employees might be dealing with something and feeling embarrassed to even bring it to work. So I would love to talk to you about, some of the programs that I offer that could really benefit your employees and actually help there be more engagement and better performance.
Do your programs work?
They do. I have worked with several companies to deliver resilience tips that they can take on themselves and really own their health and well-being. And more importantly, just get comfortable with how they're feeling. So if they do need clinical help, that they'll raise their hand and get it.
And how is it to implement this?
So I do a webinar, a 2-part webinar where I really do, engage the audience to connect, and we're basically creating a community of support right there within your own company.
And how long does the integration take?
Not long. It's actually only a 2-hour investment.
Okay.
Is that something that you would be interested in?
I would actually, because I think it would save me a lot of pain.
Wonderful. Ken,
Excellent, hey, excellent job. Ken, could I drop in for a sec?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So first of all, excellent stuff. What so far, Ken? What's your take on head-to-head versus heart-to-heart? Like, where are we overall, just group dynamic on head-to-head versus heart-to-heart?
Definitely head-to-head. Probably because that's the energy that I'm transferring. Been in my head today a lot. I did an unorthodox role play because I got schooled on Unblinded Mastery by Dolph DeRue. And, that's, I think, the energy that I've conveyed. So, Anil, thank God he's here because he's bringing the heart in.
So you want me to drop in on a couple of quick things and then we'll get the feedback or no?
Yes,
okay.
Please.
So what happened? You said you got schooled. Where'd you get schooled and what's up?
I was in a conversation where old friend who I knew. So, I didn't have the level 5 listening that Dolph had on the call. Yeah.
And that's on here today or before here?
It was before. It was this morning. And I wanted to role play in front of the group to show how I screwed it up this morning, and I wanted to improve on the conversation. So that's kind of where my head's been.
Awesome, brother. Okay. So how about if I'm a realtor and you're Ken Van Liew and I want to have a conversation with you? Does that sound good?
Sure.
Okay. And we'll drop in and we'll get some feedback. So by the way, again, I am profusely thankful for your patience for me dropping on far later than I wanted to. We had some technical difficulties and other dynamics. So my name is Sean Callagy. I'm the co-founder of Blinded, creator of the Real Raw Open. Congratulations on being here, and thank you for being here, for your courage, for your vulnerability, for your relationship with Ken. And what is this? This is the 230th Real Raw since COVID began. And extraordinary amounts of human beings like yourselves have created relationships through this dynamic and unlocked the superpower of influence. We can go through why I would believe I have the credibility to even be opening my mouth, talking to people as amazing as yourselves. We'll talk about that later. But first, Ken, let's drop in. So I'll be Joe, the realtor. My name is actually Sean Callagy in real life. Ken knows that. So Ken, man, listen, thanks so much. I read your book. I'm so blown away. I heard you doing some projects in New Jersey. And I'm not going to sell you anything, Ken, but do you have 3 minutes to just chat? I know you're busy and there's a million people that want to talk to you.
Yes, it would be my privilege to speak to you.
Yeah, thanks. Listen, it sounds like you're getting hit in a lot of directions though today. Are you sure it's a good time? Because I don't want to lean in if it's not a good time for you.
Yeah, it's a good time because it's
what just happened?
Practicing what I want to be able to do.
Do you guys see what just happened? When you communicate with somebody, there's an energetic disconnect, which there was, and you confront it and lean into it in total love, empathy, and compassion, it creates a shift. And by the way, if you're like, that doesn't really happen in real life, I promise it does. I haven't failed to reach emotional rapport in the last 16 years in any one-on-one conversation I've had with any human being. I've studied my life for 23 years, love people unconditionally with boundaries. This works on federal judges and federal courthouses with, not on, people in business, club baseball parents that are completely crazy, juries, selling from stage, the biggest stage in the world. And I've had the privilege of all of those things and in the biggest spotlights. So Ken, awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you, man. Yeah. And you okay? Like you seem like a lot's going on for you.
Yeah. Just a busy day trying to raise money. And, it's not something I do every day. So I'm out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I hear that. And, I'm inspired though, every time I hear somebody stepping out of their comfort zone. And after what I heard you say on stage today and what I read in your book, I would expect nothing less from you, brother. So thank you. I know we're down to 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So quick question, Ken, is I heard through my buddy, Rob Gill, Joe Hagan, that you have some projects going on in New Jersey, that you're putting some things together. You're putting investors together. There's a lot happening. And yeah, it seems like you're really accelerating and taking things into sort of maybe a new space. Am I hearing that correctly or no?
Yeah, it's interesting because my daughter married into a large real estate development company, and us merging ecosystems has put me into a different role where normally I've always been in operations, accelerating projects. And now in order for me to create opportunities, I have to be the fundraiser. So it's a new space for me, and it's uncomfortable.
Can I ask what's uncomfortable about it for you?
Great question. I guess I'm not used to asking people for money. I've done it before, but I don't do it every day. So, it's like I get in my head about it, and it's just money,
So, yeah. So, and I know we're like running real short on time, but could I ask this? And I was going to have a conversation with you about real estate and potentially representing some of these people as things get developed. Throw that away. What I want to do is support an amazing human being for a second and just ask you, is that really what you're doing? Are you really asking people for money? Because I don't think that's what you're doing. But is that really what you're doing?
Now that you put it that way, I'm not. I'm asking them to essentially merge ecosystems in a very positive opportunity where they could benefit also. It's a mutual benefit.
Yeah. So if I could lean in and respectfully ask, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, why would a conversation with somebody that's a best-selling author, an amazing husband, father, human being, have one conversation that didn't go the way you wanted to? Like, how is that resulting in you internalizing it so deeply? And I hold no judgment because you're amazing. And I know we're out of time. There's this thing that I participate in called this like huddle, and I learned this program, through this thing called Unblinded. And stepping in and going there has changed the trajectory of everything I do and my understanding of human dynamics and communication. I know you're landmark trained at the highest level. You're a genius in the space. And it's probably difficult to believe there's more to unpack. But the fact that you feel this way as a result of this conversation, and that you would even frame what you're doing in your mind and your words as asking people for money, tells me that despite all your success and genius, there's still an extraordinary access. And I love you, man. I don't want to see you like this. So yeah, this is the information. By the way, here's my card. If you ever want to chat again, I'm here. And I'm so impressed by everything you've done. And go get it, brother.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
And I wasn't kidding. So how'd that feel for you?
That felt amazing. Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing great things. You're right. I shouldn't have that feeling at all. It was
And do you, Ken, have that real feeling? Was that role playing? Was that you sometimes have that feeling?
I have that real feeling. Like, I got off the call today thinking like, I should have heard exactly what Howard said. And I was beating myself up, and I'm my worst judge. I'll kick myself when I'm down, but hey, I went and ran this morning. I worked out, I hung out with some great people, but I'm beating myself up. So I was being totally authentic because I don't get the chance to do that with Sean often. So thank you so much.
Thank you. But if I get real quick, by the way, Ken, you have 90 seconds from now on, if you want to, because you can do anything you want. You could beat yourself up. You can make up any rule that you want. You could, be asking for money. You could feel guilty about it. You can feel uncomfortable about it. You can do anything you want. But how does it serve you? How does it serve them? Because do you believe that what you were proposing, the agreement you were forming, do you believe that was in his best interest?
Yeah, I do, because the $100 million fund, which I wasn't listening, is going to lead me to a point where I could deploy billions of dollars, because it puts me on a freaking platform that it's like a rocket ship. And I didn't spend enough time thinking it through, and I didn't articulate it properly. And right away I got off the phone and I beat myself up, totally analyzed it. I knew exactly what I should have said. And I just, I role played with Dolph to kind of just clear my head.
All good, brother. All good. So sorry for the interruption, but let's take it to the judges. Rob, Joe, let's stick with our beautiful 30 seconds. And by the way, Rob Gill, beloved friend, and Joe Hagan as well. Honored and privileged that you're here as well, brothers. So please take it away.
Joe, you want me to go first?
Yeah.
So, Sean, what I loved, I'm going to tell you, what I really loved is Is it a good, first of all, I love the fact that this is not, I'm going to say this is not a sales call, but you said this is not a sale up front, right? So you led with that within the first 7 seconds. That's always important to me. It leads to yes momentum. You know my drill. So I thought that was awesome. I really enjoyed, is it a good time, when you felt, I guess, a certain tone within maybe seconds, 10 to 20 seconds of that call. Love the fact that you acknowledged the book. Loved it. And then he mentions the word uncomfortable, and like a great white after a surfer, you jumped in. I should have said seal. You jumped all over the word uncomfortable, which I thought was tremendous. And you began to change the conversation about how he views money and why it's such a stigma to him in this particular situation. You acknowledged him as a man, husband, dad. Thought that was tremendous. The voice tonality on the specific question, why are you doing this, or what are you doing? The only thing I would say that I may have done differently in that, and this is just me at the end, when you created that high level rapport, you kind of said, hey, if you ever want to chat, give me a call. You introduced Unblinded. I think I may have pivoted to, hey, do you mind if we set up another time to talk and I can take you a little bit further behind the scenes? That's the thing that I would say at the end.
Understood. Integrity-based scarcity, micro distinction choice, that there's no way that man wouldn't want to talk to me.
I get it.
But I get 100%, Rob.
Well, you have that skill set. I don't know if I would have, if I'm playing poker, you know, I don't know if I'm going to go all in and say that at the end, but that's something you've had tremendous success with. That's my point. Like, yeah. For me, it was like, whoa, I don't know. Let me see if I could at least set up the next conversation.
I kind of switched the role that I was talking to Sean.
So, but let's also give some awesome feedback to our last fantastic participant, who, by the way, is about to like cure the depression ills of giant companies.
Loved it.
It's a beautiful thing. Yes.
God, I love that for the workforce. Are you kidding me? That's unbelievable.
Awesome. Cool.
I'm a workaholic, so I'm all in on that. Trust me.
Cool. So, Joe, you want to give any quick feedback, or you want to?
Am I giving feedback on what Sean just did with you?
Yeah, I would. Or I know we're running short on time.
Yeah, skip that, Joe. Just let's get feedback.
So he diagnosed you in an instant, and it was great therapy.
Perfect. Naresh, you're going to role play with the Love Doctor. Who would you like him to be?
I'd like him to be a marketing director at a financial company selling life insurance, let's say, for example.
All right, time stops now. Shoot, 3 minutes.
Hey, Anil, how are you doing today?
Hey, Naresh, nice to meet you.
Yep, nice to meet you also. I'm glad that we were able to connect through our mutual friend and that you set up this appointment between us. Just want to learn a little bit more about kind of your marketing issues, your technology issues, and why you thought it would be worthwhile to talk today.
You know, I feel that we could get more bang for the buck in our marketing, and we really need some expertise to give us some clarity around that.
Okay. And do you currently have a marketing team, or do you outsource to an agency that does stuff, or are you looking to put more resources into your marketing and give this a go?
You know, I thought we had a marketing team, but I think we probably don't have one. Okay.
Well, our company, Krish Media Marketing, really focuses on branding and direct response marketing so that we can get sales. What's your end goal? Like, who is your target customer, and what are you looking to accomplish?
You know, we're looking to get more leverage in different states. At the moment, we're just in one state, but we want to expand actually nationwide. That's the ultimate goal within the next 10 years.
Okay, got it. Well, let me tell you a little bit. We have a lot of experience. I came from the financial industry. I worked on Wall Street for 2 years. And now that I run my digital marketing agency, the bulk of our clients are financial professionals, financial businesses, hedge funds, life insurance companies. And really the competitive advantage here is I'm not looking to do retainers or big contracts. I want to be a partner in this relationship. I want to help you guys. And I think the best way to move forward is to just do a quick audit of your current marketing processes maybe go through your website, go through your current funnels, any lead magnets that you have, and just putting a plan together and then sending it over to you in writing, so you can see what our plan will be, what the costs will be, and what we can deliver for you.
Yeah, that sounds good. Can I put you in touch with our marketing manager?
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Awesome. So how did that feel?
It felt good, but it was obviously a little bit uncomfortable, largely because obviously Anil, he's role playing, so he couldn't give me as much information as a real marketing director could probably give.
If I get just lean in, Ken, we'll go to Robin. Real quick. Just get into why. Just why. Whenever we get to why, we go to heart. Why goes to heart. Like why? So yeah, like why? Tonally, genuine curiosity, love for people, open room for session, other microphone for 30,000 people. Should I see you? I hear you. What you say matters to me. That transference for 99.99% of people are unheard, including by their spouse. We hear people authentically, not to get a sale, because we love and care about people, and connection is in place, and we no longer sound like Charlie Brown's teacher saying want. Rob Gill, what do you got, brother?
I just love how that's all in your head so fast. Anyway, great job, great tonality, great spirit. Once again, I think it really gets back down to digging deep and understanding who Anil is as a human first, right? Creating that high level rapport always leads to a much higher level of success, 99.9 to 99.999. And kind of, I think at the end being, I don't know if this is good or bad, but if he's going to put you in front of your marketing director, I want to make sure that the marketing director is a direct connection to Anil and they don't play back and forth against each other. That was just my thought. But listen, it's not easy. It's 3 minutes, and I thought you did a great job, and I'll give you a 9.
Awesome. Joe. We're going to circle back on judges for Michelle, but Joe, do Naresh, and then I want to just get feedback from Michelle.
Can I give a little goddess to this call and defer it over to TTP?
Yes.
Please. Just 30 seconds, TTP.
Okay, perfect. Naresh, I loved your energy transference. Like, you definitely had a great rhythm going. I probably would have leaned in a little more when he talked about, you led with asking questions, which I thought was fabulous. But when he talked about growth, you were like, cool, that's great. Here's what I can do for you. If you took that moment to like kind of honor that and then just say, lean into that with him and say, hey, that's amazing. What does that look like for you? Or how does that feel for you? I think you could have exponentially grown the transference, and you wouldn't even have had to give him the features to benefit. So, but for me, it was a 9.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Regarding that, I guess part of it is a personality thing. I'm not just naturally the type of person who's, oh, how does that feel? Like it's just a personality thing that I should probably work on. And I don't know if you have any feedback about that.
Totally do. That's definitely not who and what you are, right? It's conditioned responses. So it's definitely not something to work on either. It's just freeing your heart and being with people. And by the way, in cases like, all this sort of, you don't understand, I sell corporate. I've been in front of federal judges that have had rules of no emotions in their courtroom. I have 2 top 100 national jury verdicts, one of the 2 people in the country between 2014 and 16 to do so. The only one who's blind. And everybody wants to get heart-centered. They just have a little different journey to get there. Everybody, because like you're saying, that's not your normal pattern. Absolutely. Totally valid. Amazing. You're wonderful and super successful already. But on the other side of like minor and micro distinctions equal massive acceleration in how people want to create a relationship with you. And there's an exponential differential in our level of influence where somebody can go on stage and sell $10,000 worth of something. Somebody can go on stage and sell 10 million. Somebody can, get hired and have 0 appointments booked in a month. Somebody else could have 75. So there's not just linear, but exponential differentials lying on this other side. So just be comfortable going into your heart. Just like be in your body, not in your head. Like be physically in your body, right? Touch your heart, feel your heart, breathe with people, move, like engage your facial muscles, talk to people's heart with your heart, and have energy variance, because you can then make decisions like, wow, what's going on? Like engagement of our being equals acceleration. I hope that was helpful. We could talk about it for 10 hours, but I know we're tight on time.
Can we get some feedback to Michelle?
Yeah.
Joe or TTP or Rob?
Rob, Michelle was doing the corporate sale with Anil.
I would love to.
Yeah.
I would love to give feedback.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michelle, I thought, listen, 3 of the 5 people out there during COVID, it's a real thing happening. I know from my office, people have been coming in and out. It hasn't been a steady flow back in. The psychology of anyone, if they have kids, if they don't have kids, I think that's phenomenal what you're doing. I love the questions that you asked. I love the way you positioned it. I think just at the end, I would have just zeroed in on a specific date and time that you guys can get together. And he said, what is the time? What is the investment? And you said 2 hours, which I thought was awesome. I mean, I would just ask more questions. I think that what you have is a special secret sauce that not a lot of people are talking about. I think it's phenomenal. 9.5.
Yeah, and if I could just add on that, because Rob pretty much hit the nail on the head. It's just that Doc had to ask for what the benefits are and the implementation of how it works. I would just have that prepared about outlining the benefits and how it's going to work, so there's no questions in his mind, and then it's easier to lock down that date for the next meeting.
Thank you.
And it's enough.
I'll add to that. I thought it was great, Michelle. I love the energy. And there's one question that you answered when you were asked, have you had any success with this? Your answer was from memory, oh yes, several. And when I hear several, I think that's exactly 3. And I think it might have been a different answer to say something like, oh my gosh, where would I begin? Yes, we've had lots of success, for instance, and then give an example. And that was the one thing that made me think, oh, several, that made me a little bit scared. But other than that, it was immaculate. It was great.
Oh, awesome. We have a new judge in the house. That's awesome. You're up next. And George, you ready to rock?
Man, I go.
Born ready. I knew that when I talked to you. The 3rd, brother.
You got it right the 3rd time. So I'm with Anil?
Yes, sir.
And Anil's anybody I want him to be?
Anyone you want him to be.
Love it. Well, I'm going to make Anil be TTP.
Got it.
Perfect. I love how that is.
You need to play TTP?
Yeah, why the hell not? This will be fun for her.
Doing, dude?
Oh, it'll be fun for her. Yeah, it's Fun Friday. Let's do it.
There it is.
All right, time starts. Hit it.
Teresa, thank you so much for taking my call today. This is great. I'm glad we could finally connect. I met you down at the annual conference in Atlantic City. I was so bummed that it was canceled that we wouldn't be able to interface again today.
Yeah, no, it's nice to meet you.
Oh, again, thanks for taking my call. We met briefly at the Little Wayne concert last year, Little John, whatever. We were doing shots with his bouncers, and I said I wanted to reach out to you because I do real estate a little differently than the typical real estate attorney in New Jersey, and I think I can bring a lot of value to your team.
I sort of guessed that when we were doing the shots.
Well, there's just a certain way that you lick that rim to get the salt before you shoot the tequila and deal with the lime, that when you're dealing with that kind of relationship and dealing with an office of people, you want to make sure that you've got precision in how you're addressing them and how you can connect real opportunities for them. And as an attorney, I like to do it differently than the others that are out there.
George, attention to detail is very important to me.
I'm really glad that that's important. And I hope that that's something that you convey and share with all of the realtors that work under you in your office. How do you convey that to them?
It starts with integrity. It's your word. It's about code of conduct and being accountable.
That accountability is so important in our practice because we're dealing with multi-million-dollar investments sometimes, or people that are buying their first house. We have so much, our clients have so much financially at stake that if they can't trust us on our word, how do they trust us in the long term? It's not one deal, it's hundreds of deals and a community we're trying to work with.
George, I'm a person of my word. I will never let you down. I will never lie to you. And I always, always keep my word.
Thank you for that. I find that to be a wonderful thought. And I hope that you'll come to trust me the same way. And I'd like to tell you how I think I can help your team and your community in developing this relationship a little further.
Sure, go ahead.
Would it be okay if I presented to your team how we could create more deals together in an area where most people have given up, and that's short sale and sheriff sale related properties that we can help the community grow and recover from zombie properties out there?
Is that a big market now?
It actually is, and it's unfortunately a market that cycles back over and over again. And in New Jersey, as a judicial foreclosure state, there's a ton of it still going on that people have forgotten and given up on, that presents new opportunities for your agents that other agents are just ignoring. Would you be interested in that with your team?
George, my main concern is reputation. Will it affect my reputation? Will we get a bad name doing this?
That's a wonderful question. And clearly the answer is no, because you're taking those distressed and abandoned properties and cleaning up your community. You're bringing more value to your neighborhood by taking these orphaned properties out of their abandoned state and getting them sold. And I can teach your team how to do that through an 11-year formula that I've developed in my practice. Could I get on your next team meeting and talk about it?
You know, that would be fine because it helps the community and it's in our mission statement. That's perfect. Thank you, George.
Well, I look forward to me talking to your calendar coordinator to get that set up.
Perfect.
George, you're a straight up rock star. Awesome job. I'm going to kick it to the judges in 1 second. Ken, you've assembled an unbelievable group for today, and hopefully this is the beginning with everybody. And thank you, brother. I really appreciate who you are in the world, everything. And I hope everybody desires to get to know you even better and accelerate with you. Because brother, from skyscrapers to where you are today, you're going to be the biggest thing in real estate in the planet. I truly believe that, Ken.
Thank you. Thank you.
To the judges.
I feel that. I'm just scared.
Yeah, brother. Come on. Feeling 166 tackles, man. Sometimes you miss a tackle.
I know.
Sometimes you miss a tackle.
I'm ready to go surfing again. I'm ready.
Let's go. Let's go. All right. I'll see you guys in a little bit. I'll be back in a minute. Thank
okay,
you.
so let's see, where were we? Feedback.
Teresa, I'd like to see you judge yourself over there.
Yeah, Judge George, and then we got Dr. Phil in. This is extraordinary.
So I got to tell you, I love George. George is like a straight up rock star, and I'm all over him now. So,
she doesn't remember those tequila shots.
But I think, okay, so the only feedback I have would be to lean in a little bit more to find out more about what was going on with me, and how I got to where I am, and what we're seeing and feeling in the market, all of that stuff, right? So you could have done, like, totally dig your energy and would totally vibe with you. But I think that if you're looking for like greater access and an accelerated place, like he was talking about before with Naresh, you like take a deep breath, put your hand on your heart, and kind of lead from that space. If you're on the phone, it's easy because nobody sees you. And you can really get great access that way. But for me, it was a 9.
Like that. I got to start grabbing my heart more often. Will you send over a shirt already? Now bring a shirt to dinner tonight, will you?
Well, listen, especially in his space, for those of you who don't know, because he deals with distressed properties and short sales, and having experience doing that, you're dealing with people whose emotions are extremely high, and they're in situations that they're like it's just not an ideal situation, and you're trying to walk them from point A to point B, and you have to do that with them, right? You have to kind of like stop everything you're doing, take a deep breath, and like calm them and get into that heart space with them in order for them to trust you to get to the next step.
You have to hold hands a lot. And so my self-criticism, Anil gave me a great opportunity to take a breath and talk on a slightly deeper level. So it took a moment, and this is the thing that I'm looking at so far from this group in 3 weeks. It's getting past the superficial pitch and the fun, outrageous guy that people like, even though he curses like a fucking sailor. but he gave me an opportunity to talk about credibility and how I will keep you protected by dealing with these. That let me dive a little deeper than I normally would have to. So thank you for that, and I'm going to keep working on that piece of it.
You didn't curse at all in the first call. You must have thought I had virgin ears or something.
I've been trying to curtail myself of my first prowess.
Let me just add on to that. Your cadence and your fun energy is great. And like you said, when you had the opportunity to get into your heart, you need to slow your cadence down, I believe, just a little bit, and get into the aspirational energy about what you can do for the community and all of the good. When you have that same fast cadence as fun, the message is, if it's not lost, it's not absorbed as deeply. So just kind of get into that energy with your cadence and physically when you're holding your heart and getting into that. But it's a 9. And I would access when you're talking about the shots, when you're talking about the next meeting. Listen, we had a really good time, and I think Teresa was right. Really get into her building of rapport. Could have been a little bit better. But when you're going to talk, listen, we had fun, but when we really talk about business, shift to what you're really looking to do as far as get down to business. Fun's fun, but there's a time for business. And let me show you what I can do for your team and really paint that picture. And then I think, then it becomes a 10, but otherwise it's a 9.
Thanks, Joe.
You're welcome. Can you give your 2 cents? I know we're giving value.
Yeah, I thought the tonality was there, no doubt. I thought the Zeus was there. I felt like I was lost in the first minute and a half. The recovery was unexpectedly incredible. I felt like the service to the community was off the charts. I love the team connection on how to really kind of get with a group of realtors that could help with these properties and everything that was going on in that space. His 11-year point plan, his genius of saying, can I connect with your person that does your calendar to get on your calendar and to be on your next team meeting? I'm going to give him a 9.
Alf, any feedback?
No, most of it's been said already. I think the thing I'd add is that there was a little bit too much of in the head, and I think as you develop that being in the heart, it will connect better. And the only other comment I'd make, because it's already a 9.5 for me, I thought it was great. When the question was asked, will this be bad for me? In addition to saying, no, actually, you're helping rejuvenate these communities, whatever wording you use, maybe give an example. For instance, just last week, there was a house that previously had been a crack house. It's got to be accurate, of course. And now this lovely couple have moved in and they're starting to transform the whole neighborhood. That gives a real specific visualizable, if that's a word, vision of what there can be and that he's actually helping people, or she. I'm getting my genders confused because of the role play.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dolph. Philip, who would you like Anil to be?
Himself. And he took my quiz. I have a quiz on my website that you can get your inborn sabotaging trait. That's a protective trait that I discovered. And your antidote, which switches it off instantly for free. So you took the quiz. And I'll follow it up. Good? Okay.
Sounds good.
Hey, Doc, man, thanks so much. Really valuable your time. I appreciate you, getting on the call with me. First of all, how are you doing? How your family? Everybody safe and well during this interesting times of ours?
My daughter's coming home today. I'm so excited. My wife's so excited. She's just a bundle of joy.
Oh man, I got 2 daughters myself. I fully understand the connection, the dad-daughter connection. May I ask what made you fill out the questionnaire, my quiz, and take it?
I want to grow, and I any information about me, my mannerisms, my habits is useful. And honestly, I took the test. I'm a little bit confused. Could you give me some clarity around that test?
Sure. It basically helps you to understand how you can really figure out why you don't go to the next level or move forward. It's actually an inborn trait that I discovered 30 years ago that allows you to really understand how to protect yourself. And then once I was able to discover the antidote, it actually switches it off instantly. But yeah, I mean, that's something that we can really get into a little bit later. But yeah, I'm really curious about, how did you get into this field? I mean, what kind of doc are you, and how did you really get into this field?
So I used to be a doctor of optometry, and patients would come in and I would give them advice, and they would come back and say, "Hey, doc, that was amazing." And I thought, of course it was, it's obvious. But it wasn't obvious to them. And I really realized later on in life when Tony said, "Anil, you should be coaching for a living." I looked at him and said, "What are you talking about?" I was a genius, but I didn't know I was a genius. And the definition of genius I have now is when you find something so easy that other people find hard to do. And that's where I got my epiphany. So I started doing events, 6 people, 10, 20, 50, 100, eventually spoke in front of 10,000 people, spoke on TEDx, written a bestseller book. Richard Branson's been to one of my seminars. I've done seminars in 18 countries in 8 languages. And it all started from that awareness.
Man, going from patient to patient, and then now transforming into helping thousands of people, man. Now I know how that serves others, man, but how does that serve you? I mean, that must be a phenomenal feeling for you.
The greatest thing you can do is give. In the moment you give, there is no pain, there is no suffering, and it feels amazing, absolutely amazing. And you're a chiropractor. That's probably the reason you became a chiropractor.
Oh yeah, we definitely have a vibe and understanding that, and going from being a doctor to now a consultant, you going from doing what you're doing from optometry to coaching. Scary shift, but man, I really commend you for doing that. Not too many people take that, and you able to tap into your genius, man. That just is helping so many people. And so I'm really happy that happened for you. That's cool. I mean, that's your deep why, man, and I felt that. And thank you for being vulnerable. I know it's hard sometimes to open up a bit, but I really appreciate you trusting me to conveying that. If I may ask you a question, on a scale of 1 to 10, man, 10 is where you are just really kicking it. You're just fulfilling your dreams. You're impacting more than you've ever impacted, and that's your 10. What number would you say you are at this moment?
I would say probably a 7.5.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for being honest with that end of it. And I appreciate that integrity. I mean, to me, 10 is dead. I mean, if you're at 10, it's time to move on, right? So if you were able to get like an 8, let's say, do a little bit more on that 8 end of it. And let's say it's the end of the day, maybe even it's the end of your day and you're just looking at it's an 8. How would that really make you feel? I mean, would that sit well with you? Even let's say even you're at, God forbid, years and years ago, it's your last day. How would that make you feel? I mean, would you really sit well with that, or
so
not?
Time's up. I'll give you another 30 seconds. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would love to be a 9 or 10, and I really feel I need more energy sometimes.
Well, here's the thing. I created a phenomenal method that took me 30 years to develop it with thousands of people from all walks of life. And I wanted to show you an interesting story I give to tell people. I had a guy go from his desk and 10x his business in under two months. Now I know that's kind of weird and and unbelievable. But the reason why we were able to do that, I was able to help him to understand that there's a combination within him. And once he found it, it was able for him to switch off and unlock that sabotaging trait that protected this to go from protection to growth. And that's how he got his instant success. So I was wondering that if you have 30 minutes, I would love to sit with you and to show you how your sabotaging trait, the one you discovered on the quiz, is really keeping you at that 7.5, and actually using that antidote. I can show you, I can move you forward in that call. I was wondering if that's something you might be interested in.
I'm more than interested. I've been searching, and this may be the answer.
Oh man, I'm really excited. So if you have like 30 seconds, maybe we can set that appointment up now.
Sure, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Awesome. So we looks like we lost a few, but thank you so much. How did that feel, Phil?
Really good. Really, really good. So I appreciate, Anil, for you opening up, and I really felt that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Great.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think for me that was like a 9.8, right?
Thank you.
Because I appreciated so much that you like leaned in to him a little bit and that you gave him validation. And then in addition to like acknowledging and validating him, then you turn it back with questions. And I think it may be just a little bit more energy variance and a little bit more in your heart, and you would have been like a 10.
Thank you.
So, Dolph, you want to give some feedback, and then Anil, I wouldn't mind you giving feedback also, and then we can get on with our day.
Sure, happy to. I mean, it was very polished. It's clearly not the first time you've done something like this. I agree with TTP that if there was a hint more heart there, other than, it was just ever so slightly mechanical in the way it came through. But I love the examples you gave. I love the way you kept on asking questions and waited for the feedback and then acknowledged that feedback and even complimented aspects of the feedback. So I think the rapport building was outstanding. I agree with you, TDP. A 9.8 is pretty close to the mark.
Well, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and at the end, I if you were me and I were you, I'd say, hey, Anil, you know what? This will give you what you've been seeking and give you that 9 and 10 so that you can impact a lot more people. I know that's what you want to do.
Great, thank you. Yeah,
I know you felt
I had that 30 seconds of like, okay,
Yeah,
wait.
I know.
Back of my mind, I'm waiting for Ken to go, okay, I'm in the middle. And I'm like, oh, geez. So I appreciate that. Thank you so
It's
much.
so hard when you have a time constraint and you have people that are like observing you. The first time I did this, I thought I was going to vomit, because I was like, all in my head, like, oh my God, I have 30 seconds. Oh my God. And I'm thinking 3 steps ahead instead of like feeling and just going with, what I know on how to talk to someone in my space. But you did great.